everybody, and welcome back to the WTF1 podcast 2022 prediction edition. We are going to reflect on some of our predictions on the run-up to the 2022 season. It's worth mentioning that these came or were submitted before testing. So
please mention that.
It makes some of them really, really good and some of them really, really bad. But that's the whole point of this podcast and of this video as well. Tom Bellingham, Katie Fairman, of course, alongside me for this journey into embarrassment. How are we both feeling? Are we ready for this? Neither of you are ready.
No.
Neither of you knew.
I was waiting for Katie.
So bad. I don't have words. So
I do. I watched back this podcast to write them all down, and the optimism of the craziest season ever. Oh my God, 7,000 different winners, new regulations. We'll get into it, but so there's some good ones.
Yeah,
but mostly bad.
I'm going to say, you two are both like, oh, terrible predictions. I'm ready to milk this for all it's worth. So
you're going to be unbearable.
And that's how you love me. So what we're going to do for each prediction as we go through it, we'll be grading them in the ABCDEF1 grading. So, of course, A star for that's a bang-on prediction, and then F, which will be most of Tommy and Katie's. Before we get into it, let's do a 5-star review very quickly from Crazy Cracker in the United States of America. I'm not sure why Tommy put the entire, USA would have been fine. My favorite Brits. WTF1 is hands down the greatest podcast if you love good Formula One banter. Matt, Katie, and Tommy are a true dream team, and I could listen to them for hours on end. Oh, appreciate the dedication and always giving us some great content. Oh, that might well be my favorite one of all.
Lovely.
Thank you, Crazy Cracker. I imagine that's not your real name, but thank you all the same. Okay, let's get into our first prediction. And this was, what will be the biggest surprise in 2022? Now, for this, did we just mean surprises in a good surprise?
Yeah, good surprise. Like this would be like.
Don't try and milk it already.
I mean, look, half a point.
Half a point because it was a surprise of how bad they were. No, this was a surprise. Like, oh wow, didn't expect them to be good.
So good. Okay, right.
I'm telling you now. I watched it back, and your one, you're very much hyping him up here. It's not a surprise of, oh wow, I did not expect this to happen. It's this person is going to be amazing.
All right, well, enjoy this one, all right, guys, because it's my only bad prediction. Well, maybe two bad predictions. This one, I went with Mick Schumacher. I think I believed, if I can take myself back to 2022 at the start of the year, I was like, look, Mick's had his season in Formula One. He always takes a year to bed in.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said.
Every week you said that. It takes him a year.
Yeah. Maybe it takes him 2 years in Formula One. We're not sure. Maybe he needed an extra year. But of course,
each formula it takes more years to get better.
That didn't age very well. However, I want to throw into the equation something so that hopefully you won't both give me an F. And that is, he led for half a second at the Grand Prix.
Well, like a tenth of a second.
Okay, all right. A tenth of, even half a tenth. That was a big surprise, and it was good. It was good wet weather driving. I know he hadn't pitted and everyone else had. But yes, Mick Schumacher didn't perform how I would have potentially hoped for him to perform.
No, I think you can't really sort of say maybe the biggest surprise in that he just didn't make the step up, unfortunately. Well done. Do you want a star, a sticker?
Took him long enough. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that you can really get a good, A star for this prediction because he smashed up the car twice, managed to bin it at the end of a practice session when the countdown had finished.
Testing the conditions.
Okay. You're gonna fight this to the death, but
I'm gonna fight every single one.
Yeah, but I don't think that's not a good prediction. Sorry, Matt.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in now because annoyingly your others are good and mine are all terrible. So Mick Schumacher, you did very much say, and a lot of people did, to be fair, that he needs a second season. But it's quite funny that he was probably the worst driver after Latifi in terms of like the performance at the start of the year, definitely, like no doubt. And a lot of people were like, well, technically his first year wasn't really a year because he was a rookie, but he still lost his drive. So I think that's a pretty bad prediction when someone lost their drive. One of the only people really one of the few to lose their drive.
Okay, so good, but it's got some points. So I'm going to grade myself an E, because I don't think it's warranted of an F, because I think he would have had to be Latifi levels in order for that to be an F. But I'm gonna try and negotiate with the panel here that I think an E is worthy. This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Oh yes, everyone, Christmas has come early this year because I've just received the new performance package by Manscaped. Manscaped created the world's first all-in-one men's grooming kit that has you covered from head to toe, literally. Inside there is the Lawnmower 4.0 waterproof cordless trimmer, which is built with advanced skin-safe technology. This helps reduce nicks and cuts on your most sensitive of areas. If you don't have great lighting at home, no problem. It has an LED light which is really helpful for grooming during those dark winter nights. Also new to the collection is the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. Trust me, this is a lifesaver. The Weed Whacker has 360-degree rotary blades and the same skin-safe technology from the trimmer. F1 is the pinnacle of motorsport, Manscaped is the pinnacle of grooming. So what are you waiting for? Go to manscaped.com and use our promo code WTF120 to get 20% off plus free international shipping and 2 free gifts. Katie, what was your biggest surprise in 2022?
So I guessed a podium for both AlphaTauri drivers. Now, obviously, that didn't happen. And in fact, they had an even worse year, or a much worse year than I think most of us would have predicted. So,
Apart
not great.
You predicted that they would do really well.
Okay, don't rub it in. But yeah, that obviously did not happen.
At all. No. Not even close. They finished ninth in the constructors.
Sad times.
Oh, they were really bad this year. Like, I can't remember
really
them being that bad, even as Toro Rosso. Like they've been struggling this year, and I have nothing. I have no words, Katie, to tell you how bad that. But I think that's worse than my Mick Schumacher prediction. Personally, I do, because not even Gasly got a podium. Where did he finish? That was the highest, maybe.
But they were good in Baku. I think the only race they were good at was Baku, where Tsunoda would have done well, but he had the DRS thing that got taped up, and then Gasly finished 5th was his best result. His second highest result was 8th, where he finished 8th twice. So absolutely nowhere near. They finished 14th and 17th in the championship. I think we actually said on our end of season review podcast that AlphaTauri were probably the biggest disappointment, one of them, along with Mercedes. So yeah, not a great one, Katie. I can't roast you too much because we've still got predictions to go. But
no,
this is definitely one of the bad ones. This is definitely one of the bad ones.
Predictions didn't happen. We have to go in.
Yeah, it's got to be an F, I'm afraid.
I think it's probably deserving of an F, isn't it?
It's a solid F.
It's going to be, just copy that answer for every single one of my predictions. It's not good.
Yeah, to be fair, like we said, it was more comical. We could have tried to like save our blushes and done it after testing, but we knew it'd be a lot funnier if we did it before any testing, and it was a huge regulation change, so we had no idea what was going to happen.
We now move on to Tommy's biggest surprise in 2022.
Yeah, so my prediction was Valtteri Bottas would be the biggest surprise, and this aged incredibly well at the start. Unfortunately, he tailed off massively, but I'm taking it still, because you look at the first results. He was 6th, retired, 8th, 5th, 7th, 6th, 9th. When I went into it in the podcast, I was saying, he's going to surprise a few people, because everyone was like, oh, he's rubbish, he shouldn't be in that Mercedes. Finally, he's left, and he'll show what, particularly in qualifying, what he can actually do and put in some good performances. And the first race, he qualified just one place behind Lewis Hamilton, beat the other Mercedes, and he was racing the Mercedes at a lot of the start of the season. So yeah, I'm not going to claim it's a worldy prediction, because he definitely tailed off, but if we'd have been doing this halfway through the year, I'd have been here giving myself an A-star, but he did tail off, I must admit.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you've read out the results up to Monaco. Let's go from Silverstone.
Oh, no,
retired 11th, 14th, 20th, retired, 13th, 11th, 15th, retired, then a 10th and a 9th, and then 15th. So I think if you'd stopped at Monaco, 100% that was an A-star, because we were mind boggled, weren't we, by Bottas's pace, and what a move to Alfa Romeo. Clearly better than Mercedes. What is this?
To be fair to Valtteri Bottas, I think the car also let him down on multiple occasions, and that there could have been better results in there. So do I give my grade now, or do I wait for Tommy to say his and then
Tommy will say his grade first, and then we'll...
Okay. So yeah, Tommy, what's your grade?
I think it's probably a B, because I think... No.
I'll go C.
Bearing in mind that last year, Alfa Romeo finished easily 9th in the championship. They only beat Haas, and Bottas finished 10th in the Drivers' Championship, top half of the championship in an Alfa Romeo. I think that's a surprise. And when the car was good, he was basically getting points every single race and racing much. He was the man at the start of the season. And don't get me wrong, he's had a bit of a stinker at the end, but the car's not there. So I don't think that's an average C. I think it's a B.
Okay. I'll change it. Good argument, Han. Well done.
Yeah, we've heard your reasoning, and we're happy to go with a B. Thank you very much, Tommy, for that. So an E, an F, and a B, the first three grades of our predictions from 2022. We now move on to the biggest letdown. Of course, that was just talking about who we thought would maybe be hyped up and not deliver. Let's just get straight into mine, shall I? So I said, for the biggest letdown in 2022, Mercedes off the pace.
Fair play.
Polite golf clap. They won 8 constructors in a row. And I went
one race.
To be fair, I need to.
Yeah, they won a race. It doesn't count.
I backed that as well, actually. But yeah, Mercedes off the pace. I just had a gut feeling Mercedes weren't going to be quick with these new regulations, and they were. I am just going to straight up off the bat say A-star. Thank you very much, and see you in the next prediction. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's probably the best prediction of them all.
Okay.
You did a really great job. Well done. I'm really happy for you.
Both of you absolutely despise me on this podcast. I love it.
Dear. Well, I knew this was coming because I remember you making the prediction, and I don't know if it's going to spoil too much what Tommy and I said, but I think Tommy and I were kind of confident to be like, it's Mercedes, Matt. You know, they've, like you say, won these 8 constructors titles in a row. They've got a team of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, and they're not going to create a car that isn't very good. Like, are you okay, hun? And then, you have mentioned it on many occasions this year. And I knew when it was time to come to record this podcast, you were going to be awful. And you know what? You've actually not been too bad. So I'll let you off there.
Well, people will say, not a great car. They finished 515 points, only like 40 odd off Ferrari in second. But for Mercedes, that is a bad car. I mean, Lewis Hamilton lost his record of winning in every season he's ever competed in. That is massive. And I think it's got to be an A-star because it was a big shock.
Yeah, A-star.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, everyone. Right, so Tommy, how are you going to follow such an amazing prediction?
Oh dear! So in this podcast, we came off the back of this argument with me saying the biggest letdown would be the fact that Mercedes would completely dominate the championship, and this was the biggest letdown in terms of the fact that we had so much expectation. I'm honestly not trying to make this sound any better, but there was a lot of expectation that it's going to be really close. So you could argue that there was domination, so half a point. But no, I, like Katie, thought Mercedes won't get it wrong because we've got to think the narrative of the end of the 2021 season was Red Bull put all this effort into making sure that this might be their only chance to win a title, that Mercedes finally slipped up. There's obviously talk that in 2021, Mercedes was kind of pegged back a little bit to make it closer with the whole ride height thing. And now... I was like, well, they've put there was talk that Mercedes were putting all their effort into next season, which you could argue they did because they tried this radical concept didn't work. And boy, do I look stupid. Mercedes domination didn't happen. Winning one race is shocking for them, really, even though they got all those podiums. But domination, definitely not.
Yeah, so you full well know that's an F grade, don't you, Tommy? There's
100%. There's no question. Yeah, I'm not
there.
even going to try and pretend. But
yeah. Good stuff. Well, thank you for that, Tommy. Speaking of F grades, Katie, what's yours?
My prediction for biggest letdown was that Haas won't improve at all, which obviously aged really well when we went to testing and the car looked really quick. And then obviously K-Mag came back and managed to pop it P5 at the first race of the season. So let's just sum it up and say it was bad and let's move on.
You just tore up the sheet. You were like, oh, for God's sake, I'm happy for your Haas, but screw you. I was like,
I just wanted one thing to go right.
To be fair, it was quite an extreme prediction as well. The fact that they wouldn't improve at all.
I know. I should have just said like Haas won't improve much.
They were actual tractors in 2021. That they were so far off the pace. They were a Formula 2 car. And yeah, I mean, I could have found loopholes.
I didn't know Kevin Magnussen was going to come back. So if they
K-Mag was the reason.
Yeah, I'm blaming this completely on Kevin Magnussen.
Well,
so
to be
Kevin,
fair,
meet me. I want to fight,
Going back to the Mick Schumacher prediction, you could argue that, if it was Mick been in the car at the start of the season, you'd have been like, because he took a long time to get a point, didn't he, Mick?
Yeah.
Was it Silverstone? Was it first one?
Yeah, Silverstone.
But, so, but I mean, still, K-Mag was brilliant at the start of the season, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think if there was a worse grade than F, we would probably be.
I don't. Yeah, I
they
don't
went
know
from 2.5 seconds off the back of the pack to scoring 25 points.
Yeah, true. I guess they'd have had to have finished last for this to be anything other than an F, I guess.
But yeah, Katie, I think, are you happy to accept an F?
Yes, I'm happy.
Okay. Moving on. Now this one, surprisingly, we weren't washed. Will a driver be dropped mid-season? We all said no, and that is correct. A stars for all of us. Well done, everybody. Was there there wasn't anything close to a drop
I guess the only person you could say is Mazepin was dropped ahead of the season, which was a shock because this was obviously way before obviously the awful situation in Ukraine, and we were there like there's no way Mazepin is getting dropped because he's got loads of money in his seat safe, and then no one could have imagined how that would have gone down for Haas. But yeah, no, we all said no, and yeah, drivers made it.
Okay, moving on now to surprise winner of 2022. Okay, so my surprise winner of 2022, I put down Carlos Sainz.
Well done. I'm so bored.
Was correct.
It was correct.
Let's not forget as well, we had no idea Ferrari were going to be quick. So just going to put that there as well.
You that predicted Ferrari would be quick. No, that was a good guess or good prediction. Well done, and I'm very happy for Carlos.
I absolutely love the sass.
Yeah,
A star, by the way.
It's a good prediction. Not A star for me, but
not A star. It's correct.
But because it's not it wasn't a surprise when he won. I don't think.
No, but it was. It would have been at the time of us making the prediction.
Yeah, but then my Bottas one would be an A, right?
No, but because that wasn't full. That wasn't. I'm not sure. What do you think, Katie?
Well, yeah, I see. In terms of surprise,
come on, Katie, we need to back each other up here.
He won a race, so it's true in that he actually won a race. So that's more than what Tommy and I managed. But yeah, surprise. I don't know if it is necessarily a surprise based on how quick Ferrari were, but we didn't know how quick they were going to be.
He hadn't won a race.
It can't be an A star. No, it can't be an A star because it wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a surprise winner. Like I know you predicted at the time that it's a surprise winner, but it can't be an A star because it's not like oh my god, wow, that's incredible. Because if you predicted
like Latifi
exactly,
and he won,
it wouldn't have been right, and it would have been an F. So. All right, this is clearly, the majority here are going with A. So I feel like I've been robbed. In the comments below, have I been robbed? Is that an A star? Please let me know. It will be overridden if the top comment is Matt was robbed. It should have been an A star. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you're just going to pin the comment and then everyone will see it. And that's cheating.
Using your power.
You're going to get a hashtag started. Matt was robbed.
Anyway, my grade's definitely going to be higher than your two. So, Katie, let's go with yours first.
I went for Sebastian Vettel as a surprise winner. And if you look at it, he was a surprise winner in our hearts when
here we go. Love to see it. Love to see it.
I honestly don't know how I'm going to even try and blag this one. It didn't happen.
He won a driver of the day.
That's genius! Oh my god, I love it. Yeah, so A star.
Yeah, because that was a surprise. What was Vettel's best result? Was a 6th place. God, no one got anywhere near the podium today. It's so annoying. Oh dear.
Well done, me and my great wheel knowledge.
Yeah, it's crazy to look at Vettel's results last year in 2021 because it went 15th, 15th, 13th, 13th, 5th, 2nd, 9th, 12th, 17th, retired, disqualified, 5th, 13th, 12th, 12th, 18th. Like they just Aston Martin just worked at certain tracks just randomly throughout the year. This year was more consistent in the sense of scoring points, but then he scored 6 less than he did last year.
Can I have an E at least?
I think E is okay. I appreciate the left field.
Yeah,
because apparently that's part of the prediction. Is it has to be crazy.
Yeah, I'd give an E there.
Oh, that's kind.
It's a shame we didn't even get a blooming surprise podium. Never mind a surprise winner. Shocking.
Katie, you got an E, which, to be fair, apart from the saying no to being dropped mid-season, is your highest grade of the podcast so far. So well done, Tommy.
So mine was Fernando Alonso, which was really hoping for, but again, he didn't even get a podium, and I was here going, "Oh, I'll do a shoot if he gets a podium," because I think as soon as we had those first few races, it was like, "Yeah, we're not getting a midfield podium here," because Mercedes were off the pace, like you say, and they were still getting podiums because they were third. So Fernando Alonso, I went with the fact that Alpine wouldn't be quite there, which they weren't really. They were the 4th best car. Thanks for that, Alpine. And Alonso wasn't a surprise winner. Didn't even get a podium. I guess the closest for me to not get an F, and I'd argue is better than Katie's. I'm trying to scrape the barrel here. Is that he got he got the front row start in Canada, which was epic. So that's basically a win in all our hearts, wasn't it? He was out there celebrating, cheering. Everyone realised that Fernando Alonso is the greatest of all time, and that's a win for me.
Well, look, I am willing to put forward a D here because I think without the car breaking, there was a podium on the cards. Maybe in Australia, maybe in Canada. He was saying, obviously, with his car not working properly, he didn't even get a 4th place this year. Like,
shocking.
Again, wasn't even close to the podium. And this is a surprise winner we're talking about here, everyone. Not even a surprise
maybe if his
podium.
car worked, there might have been a better chance, but.
Yeah, but I still don't think.
Don't analyze it too much, Matt. I'll take the grade.
No, you'll take the what grade was it?
I know. I was like, I'll take that grade.
Katie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's better than mine, but that's not hard. So yeah, I'll give Tommy a D.
This next one, the 2022 world champion will be. Oh, I was so on to an A star for the first 3 races, and then it all fell apart. Well, I went for Charles Leclerc, which I think as well is the boldest prediction out of us 3 by quite some margin. So I am going to just flat out say I deserve an A, and
yeah,
maybe a B. Oh no, Katie said yeah, so maybe an A. Because Charles Leclerc was in the championship hunt. Ferrari screwed him over. I think he still would have been within maybe a couple of victories had Ferrari not ballsed it up so dramatically over the course of the season. And he put up the only fight of anyone in the entire field. So I think that was a very solid prediction, because I think when we're grading the predictions, it's not just how right you are, it's how left field you are as well, apparently, according to Surprise Winner, because I mean, you guys said it.
Yeah,
Surprise Winner. So I'm just going to put it over to the jury now.
Well, I think that actually the question, we misheard it, and it was world vice champion will be. So in that case,
champion.
Yeah, it's true. It's a champion of our hearts, is what I would say if I had Sebastian Vettel. But yeah, I think that's the closest out of all of us again. So yeah.
I mean, I've got to give you props, because if you actually look back, Charles, which is wild to think about now, finished 7th in 2021. Obviously, that was through a bit of bad luck, and was still a very good driver in 2021, but 7th in the championship. And then, to finish second, he deserved second place. Yeah, he was great, and was the only one really that took the title fight to Verstappen, even if it ended by about Azerbaijan when his car broke down. But it was there, and it's a good prediction. Annoyingly, again, I think it's an A. It can't be an A star because obviously he didn't win. But
I'll take the A. The averages are looking incredible.
No, because he finished second, so it's got to be an A, hasn't it?
Vice champion, as Katie pointed out. It's technically still true.
He's still A champion.
Katie, what did you go for?
I went for Lewis Hamilton, and to make it even more embarrassing, I said that he's going to retire after getting an 8th title. And obviously, none of the above worked out. I don't know why I do this to myself. It's another F, isn't it? Let's move on.
Let's just break this down as to how bad of a prediction this was. Not only was it Lewis Hamilton, but you said, I love the face, but he said he'll retire when the only reports we've been hearing is, I'm going to carry on for another 5 years.
So complete opposite, basically. Yeah, I don't know why I'm laughing because mine is equally as bad.
Yeah.
If I just go into mine, because I went for the same driver, and just to make it even worse, I said that he'd wrap up the title by Mexico. Which was actually later than Verstappen did. Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, Verstappen was Japan.
By 2 races. Verstappen wrapped up the title 2 races earlier than that. Anyway, master plan jinx. After everything that happened in Abu Dhabi and, Toto at the end of Drive to Survive, everyone's got a target on their back. We all thought this was going to be the redemption year, and Hamilton was good. He did have a good year in that car. But when you look at the result of it, oh my word, 6th, no win.
Beaten by his teammate.
It's got to be I guess it's an F for both of us.
Yeah, it's a solid F, I think. It's horrendous, really. But completely understandable that you would go for Lewis Hamilton. Last year, the heartbreak, he's going to come back fighting. But yeah, he wouldn't have even been the world champion within his own team, which is not going to be a very nice thing to hear if you're Team LH. And finally, as if your 2 predictions did not age badly enough throughout this podcast, we even did a question of how many points will Hamilton beat Russell by?
I love the way it wasn't even put into the mix of none of us went bold and were like, well, actually, I think Russell will beat him. It wasn't even suggested.
No, it wasn't suggested. Yeah. However, I was the best of the worst.
Stop it!
Sorry,
Why?
everyone. I'm sorry. I keep rubbing it in, but I'm enjoying every second of it.
There's salt in the wounds, okay?
So I went with 48 points. Hamilton will beat Russell by. Katie?
I said 67.
And Tommy?
105. And the reality was, 35 behind. So
I'm going to go with, I think I deserve a
an E.
No,
D, E, and F. Yeah. God,
Okay.
they're so bad.
I'm just 2 race wins. I think that's a solid C.
Absolutely not. If you actually add on
points behind,
if you add it on,
if we add it on,
I was 140 points off.
Yeah, you were 140 points off. Katie was 102 points off, and I was 83. So
Quick maths.
I can't wait to do.
This is why I'm so impressed. Your maths is great.
Thank you, Katie. It's really.
He doesn't need any more compliments.
That's true.
A star for my mathematical addition
God's
skills.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. That is. I love this, by the way. We're definitely having to do predictions for next year, and I love
easier next year.
on...
It's fine because no regulation change. That's what I'm blaming it on.
Okay, cool. And I'm blaming it on getting very lucky on most of them. Bar Mick, don't back Mick Schumacher, even though I can't next year because he's not on the grid. Tommy, final thoughts.
Final thoughts are, I'm glad I at least got one decent prediction because everything else was pretty much an F.
Can't even say that, so that's great. I will say that I promise I do have some wheel knowledge because in the podcast predictions, I did win that. So please don't hate me because I do actually know some stuff. Only some, not all.
I do love how a lot of the podcast predictions they were like, Danny Rick will wear an American hat,
have a mustache.
Yeah, you cashed in those points at the end with some quality stuff. Like,
I know
check
the driver's
weather.
personalities.
It's going to rain this weekend.
I didn't check the weather when I did that one, but yeah, clearly in terms of this, it's not been my finest moment. So
it's brilliant. That's why people tune into
it never happened, eh?
Yeah, that's why people tune into this. They love that stuff. My final thought is wrapping up with the grades. So Katie got an F, an F, an A star if we're going for the driver drop mid-season, an E, an F, and an E. That's solid. Tommy, you got a B, an F, a D, an F, and an F. And I didn't really want to mention this. Obviously, started off badly with an E, then A star, obviously with the mid-season drop, which you got as well, Tommy. A, D. I don't think that's too bad. And that is it. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you this review of the 2022 predictions. It has for me, maybe not for you, Katie. And let us know how close you were with your predictions in the comments below. Give us 5 stars, thumbs up wherever you're listening and watching. It's been a pleasure. See you very soon. Adios. Bye-bye.
I'm going to read out one prediction just to make us feel better. I've just gone on the comments of the original thing, and one of the most liked comments from 10 months ago was bold prediction: every team will get at least one podium, from Skipper Mursk, and it had 185 likes. And boy, did that aid badly.
There you go. Tommy trying to make himself feel better by showing
just
another
trying.
prediction that was bad. We've been waiting for a long time. Bye.